Now they say they let them tumble down the mountain. That's the way they got them down. Okay, I'm fine with that. But it's a few hundred feet from where they landed. You're gonna have 45 degrees and you're gonna drag that 45 degrees up here. Apparently it got up here, but I don't know if I buy that.
For hundreds of years, Peru's giant stone ruins have kept their secrets locked tight. But now, an AI has finally cracked the code hidden in those ancient rocks. And what it found is shocking.
Look at this site. Look at the size of the overall structures, and then just look at how perfectly they've been put together. Building in this manner means that every single stone in a structure has its preferred position.
This discovery isn't just surprising, it's impossible by everything we thought we knew. What lies beneath these stones could change history forever, opening a mystery no one saw coming, and the world is only just beginning to grasp its meaning. How AI just cracked the code on Peru's ancient stone giants. All right, so Peru's megalithic ruins, you know, those insanely huge stone structures that look like they were built by giants, have been baffling scientists for ages. People have been scratching their heads over how the heck ancient folks moved those massive blocks and what secrets might be carved into them. But until recently, a lot of that mystery stayed locked tight. Enter AI, the game changer. A team of tech whizzes decided to throw some serious artificial intelligence at these ruins. They fed the AI thousands of ultra-detailed photos and 3D scans, like giving it a mega brain boost to spot things we humans just can't see. And man, the AI started picking up on patterns so subtle they'd make your head spin. What did it find? Not just random scratches or pretty decorations, no. This was straight-up code. Symbols and shapes repeating in ways that looked suspiciously like math formulas and star charts. Basically, these stones weren't just there to look cool or show off. These ancient peeps were recording super complex info about the cosmos. Think ancient calendars, astronomical events like solstices and eclipses, and even crazy math stuff, all etched right into the rocks. One of the wildest finds? Patterns that matched the cycles of the Moon and Venus. Yep, they were tracking planets. And some carvings showed prime numbers and geometric ratios, stuff that's way above simple counting. Plus, the ruins' layout lined up perfectly with star constellations from thousands of years ago. Talk about next-level ancient science. Here's the kicker. None of this was guesswork. The AI legit decoded these stone messages, proving the people who built this stuff had way more knowledge than we gave them credit for. It flips the whole story of ancient Peru on its head. How did AI do it? Well, unlike us, AI doesn't get distracted by what it expects to see. It just scans tons of data and finds connections without bias. The tricky part was teaching it to tell the difference between real carvings and natural wear and tear after thousands of years of weather beating down on the stones. So archaeologists and AI experts teamed up big time, making sure the results weren't just random noise. And there was no Rosetta Stone here, no cheat sheet to figure out the symbols. The AI basically had to learn the language from scratch by matching the stone patterns to known star movements and math principles. That's pretty epic. Bottom line, these ruins are way more than just old stone walls. They're like an ancient hard drive full of cosmic knowledge, carefully encoded by some seriously smart people. It's proof that our ancestors were way more advanced than we sometimes give them credit for. This discovery is a total game changer, not just for Peru, but for archaeology everywhere. Imagine what other secrets are out there, waiting for AI to unlock them. Now, let's zoom in on the ruins themselves. What do these stone giants look like? How old are they? And what did people think about them before AI blew the lid off their secrets? Getting to know Peru's megalithic marvels. What are these stone giants? All right, now that we know AI just cracked the code, let's take a minute to really understand what these ruins are all about. Because before you dive into the mind-blowing discoveries, it helps to know what we're actually talking about, the giants themselves. Peru is packed with ancient stone sites that have baffled archaeologists for centuries. The biggest names you've probably heard are places like Sacsayhuaman, Ollantaytambo, and Puma Punku. Each of these spots is loaded with huge, perfectly cut stones, stacked together so tightly you couldn't fit a credit card between them. No mortar needed. And the size? Some blocks weigh dozens of tons. Moving those bad boys around, let alone shaping them with the tech of the time, that's still a huge mystery. Let's start with Sacsayhuaman, just outside Cusco. This fortress-like complex is famous for its zigzagging walls made of enormous limestone blocks, some weighing over 100 tons. The stones fit together so perfectly, many experts say it looks like a giant 3D jigsaw puzzle. What's wild is that the builders didn't just stack stones, they shaped them with such precision that the walls have survived earthquakes that flattened whole cities around them. And we're talking about structures that go back at least 500 years, though some argue parts might be older. Then there's Ollantaytambo, another fortress and town that served as a military, religious, and agricultural hub for the Incas. The megalithic walls here are equally impressive, showcasing a mix of natural stone shapes fitted together and some carefully carved blocks. What's interesting is that Ollantaytambo also functioned as a ceremonial center, and some think the stone's arrangement relates to celestial alignments, something the AI research now supports. Finally, Puma Punku, part of the Tiwanaku archaeological complex near Lake Titicaca, takes things to another level. The blocks here are not just huge, they're cut with such exact angles and shapes that many have claimed ancient people used advanced tools or even lost technology. The precision in Puma Punku is mind-boggling, with some stones featuring interlocking joints and perfectly straight edges that modern engineers find impressive even today. Before AI came into the picture, the story was mostly about how impressive these structures were as feats of engineering and architecture. Archaeologists knew these sites were important to the Inca and their predecessors, but details about the purpose of specific stone patterns, carvings, or the layout were mostly guesses based on historical records and some ethnographic work with local indigenous groups. The dominant theories focused on these ruins as military fortifications, religious centers, or places for astronomical observation, but much of it was educated guesswork. The idea that these stones encoded complex astronomical data or mathematical formulas wasn't seriously considered because there wasn't a way to prove it until AI came along. These megaliths also have a cultural significance that goes beyond their physical presence. For centuries, local communities have revered these sites, linking them to legends, ancestral spirits, and the very identity of the Andean people. The ruins aren't just archaeological remains, they're part of a living cultural landscape, places where ancient knowledge and modern tradition meet. So, to sum it up, these ruins are more than just old rocks piled together. They're carefully planned, scientifically sophisticated, and culturally rich monuments built by some of the most advanced ancient minds in the Americas. And now, thanks to AI, we're finally starting to understand the full story behind their mysteries. Ready to see what this means for how we look at history and ancient civilizations. Let's break down the jaw-dropping implications of the AI's findings and how they shake up what we thought we knew about the past. Why this changes everything. Rethinking history and ancient smarts. So, we've got this crazy discovery. AI just cracked the secret code carved into Peru's ancient stone giants. But why should you care? What does this really mean for our understanding of history? Spoiler alert, it shakes things up big time. For a long time, the story around ancient Peru, and a lot of the Americas, honestly, was that while their builders were impressive, they didn't have the same level of scientific knowledge as, say, the Egyptians or Mesopotamians. The common idea was that these civilizations were brilliant in architecture and art. Sure, but the big science stuff? Not so much. Now, that narrative is getting flipped on its head. The AI found clear evidence that the builders were not only shaping massive stones, but embedding complex knowledge about astronomy, math, and time itself. We're talking about understanding prime numbers, geometric ratios, and detailed star cycles like the Moon and Venus, knowledge that's essential for calendars, agriculture, and navigation. This suggests these ancient people had a much deeper grasp of the cosmos and mathematics than historians had credited them for. And it doesn't stop there. These discoveries hint that this knowledge was deliberately encoded in their sacred spaces, passed down through generations, and maybe even used to predict celestial events. Think about that for a second. We're basically learning that these ruins were ancient high-tech info hubs. The people who built them were thinkers, scientists, and philosophers in their own right, far from the primitive label often slapped on indigenous cultures by outdated history books. This also forces us to reconsider timelines. If these complex systems existed thousands of years ago in the Americas, then our understanding of when and how scientific knowledge developed globally needs an update. Maybe there were multiple centers of innovation around the world, independently creating advanced knowledge systems. Plus, this could explain why these sites were so important culturally. If the stones encoded calendars and cosmic cycles, then ceremonies and rituals held, there weren't just spiritual, they were tied directly to tracking time, seasons, and celestial phenomena. The AI findings give us a peek into how interconnected their worldview was. Science, religion, and daily life all woven together. Of course, this kind of radical new info can ruffle feathers. Some experts urge caution, reminding us that more research is needed to fully understand the AI's findings. Archaeology is complicated, and interpreting ancient symbols isn't straightforward. But the fact that AI could even make these discoveries is proof that new tech is transforming how we study history. And it's not just Peru. The methods used here could rewrite histories everywhere. Ancient Egypt, Mesopotamia, the Indus Valley, and beyond might also hold secrets that only AI can uncover. At the same time, this raises big questions about who gets to tell these stories. Indigenous voices need to be at the center, shaping how this knowledge is interpreted and shared. After all, these ruins aren't just history, they're living heritage. Bottom line, the AI discoveries push us to rethink what we know about ancient civilizations and their scientific achievements. They remind us that history is never finished, and sometimes the past is way more complex and fascinating than we ever imagined. So, how did AI actually make these breakthroughs happen, and why is it such a powerful tool for archaeology and history? How AI is changing archaeology. The tech behind the magic. All right, let's talk about the real star of the show here: artificial intelligence. AI might sound like sci-fi stuff, but it's actually becoming a total game-changer in archaeology, and Peru's megalithic ruins are the perfect example of why. So, what exactly is AI doing when it decodes ancient sites? At its core, AI is a kind of super smart computer program that can learn patterns, make connections, and analyze huge piles of data way faster and more accurately than humans can. Archaeologists have tons of photos, scans, satellite images, and other info from digs. But sorting through all that manually? It takes forever, and some clues are just too subtle to catch by eye. That's where AI steps in. Researchers train AI models, usually using something called machine learning or neural networks, by feeding them tons of examples. The AI starts to notice patterns humans might never spot, like recurring shapes, alignments, or even faint marks that look like symbols. It can also cross-reference those with external data, like star charts or mathematical sequences. In the case of Peru's ruins, AI analyzed thousands of 3D scans and high-res images to pick out hidden codes carved into stones and detect the alignment of the entire site with stars and planets. It's like giving archaeology a superpower, combining the precision of computers with human curiosity. But it's not just about spotting cool patterns. AI also helps figure out what those patterns mean. For example, when AI detected that certain carvings matched lunar cycles or prime numbers, it connected the dots between raw data and historical or astronomical knowledge. Now, AI isn't perfect. It needs careful human guidance to avoid mistakes, like confusing natural cracks for intentional markings. That's why teams of archaeologists, computer scientists, and indigenous experts work together. It's a collaboration where humans provide context and interpretation, and AI provides speed and pattern recognition power. What's super exciting is that AI can be applied anywhere. There are thousands of ancient sites worldwide that haven't been fully studied because they're too big, damaged, or just overwhelming. AI tools can scan satellite photos to find hidden ruins in dense jungles or deserts, read faded texts, and even reconstruct broken artifacts digitally. This means the future of archaeology could be way faster and more accurate. Instead of spending years guessing or digging blindly, AI gives researchers targeted leads. Hey, check this pattern here, or these stones align with the summer solstice, saving tons of time and effort. And as AI gets smarter, it might start discovering things we haven't even imagined. Maybe it will find lost languages or uncover ancient knowledge that changes how we see human history. At the same time, there are ethical questions. Who owns this digital knowledge? How do we protect sacred sites from becoming just data points? How do we involve indigenous communities respectfully in this new tech-driven archaeology? These are big conversations happening right now, shaping the future of the field. So yeah, he is like the new detective in town, helping us solve ancient mysteries faster and better. Peru's megalithic ruins are just the beginning. The question now is, what secrets will AI uncover next? A little detour. Let's check out what this all means for the people who still call these lands home, the indigenous communities, and how this tech meets tradition. Respecting roots, indigenous voices, and the future of ancient knowledge. So we've talked a lot about AI cracking codes and tech breakthroughs, but let's not forget one crucial piece of the puzzle: the people who've lived alongside these ruins for generations. The indigenous communities in Peru aren't just distant observers, they're the living heirs to the knowledge and culture that built these megaliths. For centuries, these sites have been sacred places, deeply woven into local traditions, stories, and spirituality. The stones aren't just historical artifacts, they're part of identity, ceremony, and connection to ancestors. When AI steps in to decode these ruins, it's important to remember that this isn't just a tech project, it's touching on living heritage. Many indigenous groups have welcomed the AI discoveries because they shed light on their ancestors' intelligence and achievements, helping correct the old, often dismissive narratives that painted their cultures as primitive. It's empowering to see technology confirming what their oral histories and traditions have always said. These civilizations were brilliant and deeply connected to the natural and cosmic world. That said, there's a strong call for collaboration. Indigenous voices want to be part of how these findings are studied, interpreted, and shared with the world. It's about respect for their knowledge, their rights, and their role as custodians of these sacred sites. Too often in history, archaeological research has been done without involving the people most connected to the land and heritage. Incorporating indigenous perspectives ensures that the AI findings don't get reduced to just data points or cool discoveries, but are understood within the full context of culture, spirituality, and community. It's about weaving modern tech and ancient wisdom together. This collaboration also opens doors for cultural revitalization. As AI uncovers ancient astronomical knowledge or mathematical systems, local communities can reconnect with these traditions, bringing new life to old practices that might have faded over time. On a bigger scale, it's a reminder that technology isn't a replacement for human experience. It's a tool that works best when paired with respect and dialogue. The story of Peru's megalithic ruins isn't just a story of stones or codes. It's a story of people, past and present. Looking forward, this balance between innovation and tradition could set a new standard for archaeology worldwide. A future where AI helps unlock secrets, and indigenous communities guide how those secrets are honored and preserved. Because in the end, these ruins belong to everyone, but especially to those whose ancestors shaped them and whose culture continues to breathe life into them. Unlocking the past, shaping the future. So, here's the big picture. AI just opened a whole new chapter in our understanding of Peru's megalithic ruins. What once seemed like mysterious stone piles are now revealing themselves as incredible repositories of ancient knowledge, math, astronomy, and cosmic cycles, all carved in stone by brilliant minds thousands of years ago. This discovery doesn't just change how we see those ruins, it challenges long-held ideas about ancient civilizations and their scientific know-how. It reminds us that history isn't fixed. It evolves with new tools, fresh perspectives, and deeper respect for the past. What's truly exciting is how AI is helping us uncover secrets faster and more accurately than ever before, while also pushing us to rethink the relationship between technology and tradition. These ruins belong not only to archaeologists or historians, but to the indigenous communities who carry their stories and spirit today. Moving forward, the future of archaeology looks like a team effort, a partnership between cutting-edge AI, expert researchers, and the people whose ancestors built these monumental legacies. Together, they're rewriting history, honoring culture, and opening doors to discoveries we've only just begun to imagine. In the end, Peru's stone giants aren't just relics. They're living stories, waiting patiently for us to listen. For now, thanks to science, thanks to AI, we're understanding history better. If you want more videos like this, check out our channel and subscribe for free. Thanks for watching.